Wow. So just like anything else, you find yourself having to be creative because of a need. And I found myself leaning towards, gravity was pulling me towards day trading because there was a need for not just myself, but many people who were, during the year of 2020, people were having to struggle and work really hard to figure out how they were gonna, financially be stable and stuff like that. So I just started experimenting really with day trading because I come from a creative background and music, videos, and production and performance type of thing. And day trading was totally foreign. I knew nothing about it. I had seen it, but I never really dug into it, never really committed to learning it. So 2020 is what really got me thinking about it and trying to help people find a way to supplement some of the income that they had lost or being, put in a situation where they had to figure out what they were going to do financially. And then 2021, April 4th, I remember, April 4th, 2021 is when I decided. I committed to understanding the financial market, which is really, think about it from somebody who is not savvy in that area. It's like moving into a foreign country. You got to learn a new language. The whole terrain is just different, and you might end up on the bad side of town and not know it. But thankfully, the commitment was there and the determination to understand it was there. So I have background in music, and what's interesting about me is that I never took a lesson. I never went to school. My only way of learning was watching. And I knew that if I could just find someone who was already doing it, and all I had to really do was watch them. And I know that I didn't need to watch them for a long time. And I found that person. This person's name is Andy Peters. Andy Peters had just such a simplified way of day trading. He knew how to explain what he was doing. And it was so simple, I thought it was almost not true. But just like doing an instrument, just like playing an instrument, there's only really one way you can, like on a piano, there's really only one way you can play a certain kind of chord or note. Or on the guitar, there's variations of that. But keeping it simple is what really allowed me to make a determination that I was going to understand it. But it was because of finding the right person that had already been successful in it for years. Not like success in the last month. Like there was, one of the things I remember him saying was, keep receipts. And he would show his profitable trades and the trades that went against him. And it was very transparent. And so it just gave me a lot of confidence to be able to say to myself, man, you could do this, man, for sure. The bullseye, I'm telling you, the bullseye strategy was something that really I had just compiled a lot of different ways of approaching. There is a million different ways to catch a penny. And I say that because there's a million different ways. We hear that cliche a lot. There's a million different ways to blank, right? To catch a fish or to do all kinds of different things. find the one that brings you something. And takes little away and little effort. So the bullseye, I mean, we're always trying to hit the bullseye. Here's what I found out. You don't necessarily have to be perfect. It's not an approach that is, the goal is perfection. My goal when I'm learning how to play with a bullseye target, I just need to hit the target. And if I can hit the target in the same place, the same time, right, the same way, then eventually points will rack up, points will pile up, and points will put me ahead. So the bullseye is comprised of a couple different tools that we built, that are customized for the way that we see the chart. And that's the thing about it. You get 100 different people looking at the same chart, you're gonna get 100 different viewpoints. And so what the bullseye does, it puts the chart, and we're actually like superimposing, overlaying a bullseye on the chart, not so that we can hit for perfection, but so that we can hit for consistency. Because what we found out was that, if I can just at least get on the board, doesn't necessarily have to be a bullseye, the right answer every time, perfection. It just has to be something that is consistent. And so the strategy is really, you'll hear me say this a lot, this strategy, this approach, this mindset and methodology is really based on consistency. Whether it's a win or whether it's a loss, we'll celebrate if it's consistent or not. Meaning, I'm happy to take a win as long as I'm consistent with the way that I approached it, when I approached it, and what I approached it with, what mindset. So, if it's a loss, I'm happy to take a loss. If it was in confluence with the rules. You'll hear me say this a lot. The plan, the strategy, the rules, and the tools are what make us consistent. Now, if I go outside of that, plan, strategy, rules, and tools, then I'm just asking, I'm actually just handing over what profitability I might be able to potentially get in the market. But when plan, strategy, and rules and tools are in place, which what we've called the bullseye, then it's very highly likely that at the end of the day or at the end of the week or month or year, we're going to be profitable. But it's important to be consistent. Yeah, so any veteran trader, any seasoned trader will tell you that one of the keys to being successful in trading is an edge. They call it an edge. It is something that will give you a high probability of positive expectancy, meaning when I make the decision to engage in a market that is designed to just be manipulated and take, right? And I have an edge, then I can expect profitability, okay? I think that these tools that we use, it's really just, there's two different ways to approach it. You can go with the trend, right? Or you can go against the trend. Now, what the tools we use and the approach we use typically goes with the trend. That's called the bullseye clouds and arrows. And the cloud indicates which direction the trend is, and the arrows indicate when to get involved. And there's another tool that we use called the bullseye line. And it's used whether it's with the trend or against the trend. But the idea is it's not my own intellect. It's not my own ability to comprehend the market that gets me involved. It is solely when the rules and the tools line up and when they're confluent together and when they work together. So the tools are very important. There's a couple of tools that we coded, that we produced, that are kind of I didn't see them in the list of different tools that were available. And I just thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to be able to see, like, you know, something simple like the previous day high and low and midpoint. And there's all kinds of different tools out there, you know, but I wanted to see it in most simplistic form. So we made them available at no cost. And so anybody can go grab it. It's on TradingView, and it's the Bullseye previous day high and low. And these tools, when you know, just like any builder, any person that is using a set of tools, a tool set, knows that you can't rely just on one. Like, you have to have a hammer and a nail. You have to have a screw driver and a screw. You have to have, right? You have to have all these different tools to work together in order for it to really, really produce the way that you intend, the way that the way it's supposed to. So these tools that we're using, they really, you know, they're powerful in and of themselves. It's just when you pair them together, I mean, there's some power tools right there, for real. Being focused and being disciplined in a volatile condition. So, what I've learned in the last, at the time of this recording, 4 years, is that if I start to lose focus, I start to go blind. It's like, you know, I wear glasses, and if I'm driving at night and I take my glasses off, that means my vision has become blurred, and I put myself and anybody who's with me at risk of being involved in an accident. And it's because the focus is blurred. So one of the things that I learned to focus on and that I need to have daily is putting not what most people would typically put in focus, which is a number. I am not interested in a number of profitability, of percentage gain. I am not interested in percentage loss. That is not my main focus. My main focus is following a plan and following a strategy and using tools and abiding by rules. I am so focused on that, I don't want to say care less, but it's going to be hard for me to not be focused on that skill set of being more focused on the plan, strategy, rules, and tools. Because when I get off of focus of those things, that's when things start to become blurry. Discipline is something that I'm no stranger to, because I come from a musical background, and each instrument that I've been able to play and learn how to play came because of discipline. And people think that discipline means that there's no room for error. No, this is not true. You've been lied to. Discipline is when I take a small amount of time every day. So for example, there's a cello right here in this room that we're sitting in. And there's instruments here that when I give myself to it a little bit at a time, a little bit of time out of the day, I have disciplined myself to give myself. And here's what I know about the law of discipline. When you give yourself to a thing, it must give back. It always gives back. It never fails. And giving back. And this is the part of discipline that I want traders to understand, is that when you give yourself the time that we spend, the energy that you spend, and then a lot of times the resource that you spend, the capital that you spend, especially in learning, right? You're giving yourself to it. And at first, the only thing that it's giving back to you is losses or frustration. But this is the price of entry. At first, it'll give you that. Just like picking up a guitar, and, at first it's just gonna give you blisters. At first it's just gonna give you a headache. And at first it's just gonna make you frustrated. But when you can pay the cost of entry, it starts then to give back to you, and it's in ways that you at first didn't really know it could. Like, trading has been able to give me a good dose of self-reflection. It's given me a good idea of how I was making decisions that didn't involve a plan, strategy, rules, or any tools. It was just, what did I feel like? And so the discipline of it is just do it a little bit every day. Just do a little bit of it every day. Chop away at it a little bit every day. Now, when you're first starting, the cost of entry is time. And so the discipline of just showing up on time, every time, is when you'll start to understand just how powerful of a skill set trading can be. Yeah, so goals are great. Goals are great to have. I think goals have a amazing place in the life of a trader, in the life of everybody. Everybody wants to set a goal set. Here's what I think, planning and utilizing tools and rules that they help us achieve a goal. Short-term goals are probably one of the most powerful kind of goals. Meaning, what do I want to get accomplished in the morning? Not this year, not in the next 5 years. What do I want to get accomplished in the morning? So here's the powerful thing about short-term goals. And this is just for an everyday trader type of mindset. When I wake up, what is the first thing that I do? Did I plan it? Did I plan to go? It's very simple as getting up, brush your hair, brush your teeth, make your bed, get dressed, clean up the area around you, throw the trash, right? Go touch grass, is what I like to say. Get outside for a little bit, take a vitamin before you ever sit down in front of a trading chart. Those short-term goals, they've done a few things. They've already made you a winner. So when you start to get into this routine of winning on short-term disciplines, then all you have to do is add another short-term discipline to the chain of wins and watch how it just starts to follow suit. And you start to get into a winner's mindset. And the winner's mindset isn't that I got the prize. The winner's mindset is I planned this before I ever got here. So short-term goals are great in that aspect. Long-term goals are something that is unknown. And I know that sounds weird, but I could have a long-term goal that I don't even know what it is. It reveals itself to me. It shows me when I get there. I could say, I want to have a certain amount of dollars in the bank and in a long-term goal, like 3 or 5 years or something like that. Well, my short-term goals will get me there. My short-term memory, those little wins will get me there. But I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna cap it at that number. So short-term goals, I know. Long-term goals reveal themselves. So when I was the very beginning, when I first started out, I mentioned a couple of different, I mentioned a mentor that I found, and there were several others. And then I started out, like a lot of people, and they just start by themselves. It is a introvert's dream job. You don't like working with a lot of different kinds of personalities, and then the only personality you're working around when you're day trading is yourself, in most cases. Well, what I found out was that I really required the community aspect of building something. So I knew that there were opportunities to teach, and I knew that there were opportunities to invest and share some of the knowledge and the tools that we were developing with other people who I knew needed them and could really use them. So it was something that I thought, well, how can we make the most impact? And that's when we started to compile all of the different ways we approached it into one place, and that's where we came across the Bullseye Trading Masterclass. And putting that together has really started to shape and form this community of people who had no experience in the money market. And I mean, from all ages, from, to people who were in their mid 50s to kids who are 12 years old, who understand like the fundamentals and the basics of how to day trade. So that's the impact I really am striving for, and I think we're hitting it. I think we're getting there, and it's just like it's a slow moving journey. We're pioneering something in a way that I am wanting to see people who had no idea they could be successful in the money market, and seeing the light bulb come on in their eyes. And when they have the confidence to say, I can do this. Okay, so for every day trader who is a beginner, let me suggest a couple of things in no particular order. They're all important. Number one is, as soon as you can believe in yourself, you will succeed. And there will be times that you start to doubt yourself, and there will be times that you want to quit, and there are times that you will even in fact quit. I want to encourage you to continue even when you have already decided that it's not cut out for you. Here's why. I believe that you would never have had the desire to even try if it wasn't for you. Now, because of the difficulty of it and because of the uncertainty of it, that's what keeps us from continuing when we actually start to learn about ourselves. And we learn that we're not perfect. And we learn that we make mistakes a lot. And we learn that we're compulsive and impulsive. And we are emotionally driven a lot of the time. And we allow external things dictate how we make decisions. And so when we find that out about ourselves, we don't like that about ourselves, and we don't want to have to deal with that. But once you decide, you know what, I'm going to make the edits and make the adjustments to myself, to my mindset, right, to my tool set, and I'm gonna master this thing. It's gonna be something that when they ask me what I do for a living, and I say without any doubt, I'm a day trader. I think that's important. Okay, so yeah, definitely you don't give up on yourself so quick. What is quick in your lifetime? Don't give up on yourself so quick. What is quick in your lifetime? Here's the other thing I would tell beginners. Learn from the people who are honest about how they failed. Because if all I see is how somebody is winning and they never show me how they bounced back from their failure, then I am just being told a fairy tale, a story. And why? Because it's not real. And the reality of it is there are wins and there are losses. How do you manage the wins and how do you manage the losses? So finding the right community is important. And for beginners, I would say, they say capital is the holy grail, and they say consistency is the holy grail. And all of that might be true, but honestly, patience. Patience is the currency of knowing. Patience is the thing that you have to pay in order to receive understanding. If you run dry on patience, you will never get the exchange of understanding. Patience is the thing that you have to make sure that you don't go insufficient in. You can't have insufficient funds in patience, because patience is the thing that when you use that, when you exchange patience, then your experience will bring about knowledge, and your knowledge is what's going to get you to the next level, the knowledge base, the skill set, because you no longer have to hope to know, right? And you don't have to believe that you'll know. It's something that you'll have no doubt about it. Why? Because you just know. You just know it. And what got you to that knowledge? Patience. Patience is the key that opens the door to everything. Right, so anything that you receive fast, anything that comes into your life fast, quickly, in a hurry, will leave fast, quick, and in a hurry. Money, resources, relationships, right, that come fast, they are quickly, as fast as they came, as quickly as they exit. It's like, what does your diet consist of? Are you always in the line at the fast food restaurant? And how many cars were in front of you and how many cars are behind you? They're in the business of being fast, quick, and in a hurry. Why? So that you can come in and get out. But and the quality of it is questionable, right? So I would say, to the ones who think that maybe that day trading or any type of risk taking in the money market is a scheme. There are a lot of schemers out there. There are a lot of scammers. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody made a fake page about what we are teaching about, what we're talking about, But how do you validate authenticity, right? Because that's what it is. That's what it boils down to. When you come across something that's a scheme, a lot of times it's artificial. It's not real. It's fake. Right? But how do you validate something that's authentic? Right? So you have to look for the whole story. When somebody's able to be transparent about their ups and downs and the decisions that they made or the mistakes that they made, I'll be the first one to say, man, I have blown it. There are decisions that I've made in the market that just, it was an L, and it was a horrible L, and it was all based on emotional driven type of decision making, right? So, and I failed in that until I stopped failing in that. And being authentic is the thing. Being authentic is the thing that will set most everybody apart right now. So it's important to understand that there are fakes out there. There are scammers who are willing and quick to come into your life. And as quick as they come is as quick as they will leave. But the ones who stick around, the ones who are there for this chapter of your life and the next chapter of your life, especially when you made a bad decision, they stick around. Those are the ones who are being authentic because they have every right to abandon ship, but they stick around, and they're sticking around for different reasons. So the ones who have been in trading for, years and years, and they've made it through, I would say, the rough part, the beginning stages of trading, and they didn't abandon themselves because they're being transparent, they're being authentic. I'm really happy about the Infinite Trading Group. We're opening up to the community. We're opening up to the masses to be able to come and share in the journey of learning the money market. It is the most challenging. It is the most critiquing. It is the most chiseling, thing that I've ever been a part of. It's challenged me in my mindset. It has critiqued me in my decisions, and it's chiseled me in a way that has made me sharper. And I'm looking forward to seeing new faces, new people come into this skill set and utilize the tools that we put out there and become a part of a community that is building something bigger than ourselves. One of the things that we are definitely looking forward to is the charitable giving part of this whole experience as far as trading. There is a website called Missions Trading Agency that partners with nonprofits around the world, partnerships with organizations in Brazil, South America, in Angola, Africa, and in Israel, and even here in the United States, where they're really making an impact in the communities that are underprivileged. And a portion of what Infinite Trading Group does, Infinite Capital Group does, is give to those charitable causes. And we're excited about that. We're happy to be a part of something like that because now it's no longer about being just profitable. Now we're being purposeful. And so just another one of those ways that we can use the skill set to make an impact in not just our own individual lives, but in the lives of people who really, really need it. So really happy about doing things like that in the future. All right, guys, man, I really appreciate y'all checking out this podcast. If you have any questions about the Bullseye Strategy, if you have any questions about day trading, I am happy to share that with you. If you want to get started, please let me know. Send me a message. I look forward to hearing from you. If you enjoyed this podcast, click the like, click the subscribe button, leave a comment, and do me a big favor. Share this with somebody. I'll see you in the next video.